people always want to transform themselves, right? Step into a new identity, become something greater, or have some type of goal or something that they want to accomplish. And in order for you to do that, so say your goal is to get fit, right? If you want to start working out and get fit, you have to use your imagination, which is one of the best tools that you have at your disposal when you're trying to step into a new identity or change yourself. All right. So when you're trying to, so if you want to start working out, you want to be a fit person, the first thing you have to do is step into the identity of somebody who is already in shape. Okay. Now, what this means is when you do this, I know it kind of sounds weird. It's like, all right, well, how can I start thinking like somebody like that if I am the way that I am now? Use your imagination. Okay. The most powerful thing that you have is your imagination when you transform yourself. You want to start thinking like the person who you are trying to become. If you want to be fit, you have to start thinking like the person who is already fit. When you are making the wrong decisions, eating the wrong foods, not working out, things of that nature, when you have these thoughts, you have to think to yourself, what would the fit version of me think in this situation? What would the fit version of me do in this situation? When you are having a long day and you're at the end of the day and you're like, I don't feel like cooking, I'm just gonna go home and grab, the drive-thru. I'm gonna go to McDonald's, I'm gonna go to wherever. That is your cue to say, all right, the fit version of me, what would they do? They would not do that. They would just go home, make something to eat that fits into the lifestyle of somebody who's already fit. When you wake up in the morning, you set your alarm clock and you say, I'm gonna work out tomorrow morning. You set your alarm clock. You wake up. You don't feel like getting out of the bed. What would the fit version of you say? What would they think? They would probably have the same thought that you just had, but they would still get up out of the bed because there's a reason why. There's a goal to be achieved here. And it does take discipline, of course, and it's hard at the beginning. I'm not gonna hold you guys. But that's the thing. Anything that is difficult, anything that you're trying to do new is going to be difficult for you. Nobody starts out just being great at something. It takes work, man. Every person who is in shape, every person who is successful or rich or all the great things that you wish that you want to be or that you strive to be, they started at the same place that you are starting at right now. So always keep that in mind. Nobody who is successful or fit or any of that started out that way. It was a process. They had to step into the identity of the person that they wanted to become. It's the same process with me. It's the same process with you. That is just how the human experience goes. So whatever it is that you're trying to become, start thinking like that person. Start walking like that person. Visualize this version of yourself because that future version of you is in your mind, and that's where it starts. And you have to become up here first. The way to the transformation has 3 steps. First, you become, and then you do, and then you have. All right. So if I want to be somebody who has abs, I need to first become the person who has abs already. How would I think? What decisions do I make that are different from the decisions that I make now? Then I have to do those things. The action comes after you become up here in your mind. The thought comes first and then the action. You become and then you do. And then as your actions compound over time with consistency, then you have the thing, right? So I become the person with abs. I do the actions it takes to get my abs. I'm just using this as an example because I like aesthetics. So that's the reason why I work out for real. I become the person who has abs in my thoughts, in my mind. Then I take the actions to get my abs. What actions do I take? I make sure that I work out consistently. I make sure I'm not eating BS on a regular basis. I adopt the 80-20 principle. 80% of the time, I'm gonna eat like this. 20% of the time, I'm gonna eat like that. I'm not gonna skip my workouts. I'm gonna structure my day so that I make sure that I hit my workouts. I'm gonna be consistent with my workouts. And I'm gonna get the adequate amount of rest that I need to get. And I'm gonna get everything that I need in order for me to make my physique look the way that I want it to look. And me taking all of those actions that compound over time, I'm going to become, then I'm going to do, and then I'm going to have. my abs, okay? So this is how it works. Remember these 3 steps whenever you're trying to transform yourself. And always remember, your imagination, everything comes from a thought first, okay? Use your imagination. Imagine the person that you want to become. Imagine what you want to have. Imagine the goal that you want to achieve and you already having it. Close your eyes. Think about it. Feel those feelings. How does it feel to have what you want? What does that look like? You know, how do you look? How does your life look at that point? And keep that image in your mind. And then you're going to start becoming that image. And then slowly over time, while you're putting in those inputs, what you're going to find is you're going to do the actions and then you're going to have the result. And that's how true transformation works. And stepping into a new identity. It does take time, but you first can imagine it. Whatever you can see in your mind, you can hold in your hand. Whatever you can imagine and believe in, you can achieve, you know? And I know it sounds like, you know, very cliche, but the cliche things are what works. That's why they're cliche, because people have used them over, it stood the test of time. So as you listen to this video, start imagining who you want to become. Start becoming that person and do the actions and you will have, all right? That is today's video. I hope you guys got a lot from it, and continue to express gratitude, be blessed, and stay unstoppable. Peace.